Today we'll be talking about something very important. Mike, is my mic picking this? Excellent. We'll be talking about something very important that deals specifically with chosen men and chosen women as it relates specifically to relationships, as it links specifically to marriages, dating, and covenant partnership. And the title of our first lecture is 10 Relationship Traps That Destroy Chosen Men. 10 relationship traps that destroy chosen men. Don't miss number 4 and number 10. Those two are incredibly potent, incredibly powerful. I'm your host, Most Rev Benton, up in Lexington, the Chancellor and Provost of the Chosen Ones Celestial University. The prophet to the chosen ones, the called ones of infinite divine intelligence. If you are a man with vision, if you are a man with discipline, if you are a man building something that will outlive you, then you cannot just be dating. You are guarding infrastructure. You see, some men lose because they lack talent. Chosen men, on the other hand, lose because they lack discernment. And most of the time, it's not an obvious enemy that destroys them. It's a relationship trap disguised as alignment. This is not about blaming women. This is not about hate, bigotry, or red pill nonsense. This is about patterns. Because when a man carries purpose, certain dynamics are drawn to him. And if he doesn't recognize them, they don't attack him directly. They dissolve him quietly. In this lecture, I will be walking you through 10 relationship traps that repeatedly destroy chosen men. Most of you will recognize at least 3. And if you're a chosen woman listening to this broadcast, stay with us as this will help you as well. And pay special attention to number 4. That one has taken down more kings than seduction ever did. Let's deal with definitions, with foundation. What is a chosen man? Before we talk about traps, we need clarity. A chosen man is not ego. It is responsibility. A chosen man is that man who knows he was not sent here to drift. He was not sent here merely to consume. He was not sent here to be average. He builds. The chosen man protects. And the chosen man carries vision. And when a chosen man operates like that, his energy changes. His confidence attracts. His stability attracts. His ability to protect, to provide, and to profess, and his ability to hold frame and direction makes him extremely attractive. But so does projection, so does insecurity, so does ambition without integrity. You see, the stronger the man, the stronger the forces around him. The stronger are the forces that strive to tear him down. Now let's break down the traps. Now that we have a working definition of the personality, the characteristics of a chosen man. The first trap is the seductive distraction. This trap doesn't begin with chaos. It begins with chemistry. You see, she doesn't attack his mission. She competes with it. The seductress carries an energy of distraction, and that energy isn't just about her beauty. You see, beauty is neutral. This trap is about timing. She appears when your discipline is high and your momentum is building. She amplifies your ego. She feeds your desire. She makes you feel powerful. But slowly, your routine shifts. The gym becomes optional. Prayer becomes inconsistent. Sleep becomes compromised. Your focus fragments. And you tell yourself, I can handle both. Samson taught that as well. Seductive distraction doesn't remove your strength. She makes you misuse it. The seductress causes you to misuse your strength. And misused strength always collapses. Herein lies the test for the seductress. Ask yourself, does your life become sharper in her presence? Or does it become softer, more distracted? If the answer is yes, distraction is not the issue. Attraction is not the issue. Your direction is. Trap number 2. The controlling witch, or what I like to call the control dynamic, the control freak. This one is subtle. It does not begin with domination. It begins with correction. She critiques your tone. She critiques your decisions. She critiques your friends. She critiques your standards. At first, you respect it. Strong women challenge men, after all. But there's a subtle difference between challenge and erosion. If you constantly feel you are defending your leadership in your own relationship, chosen man, then you are not leading. You are negotiating. And this trap thrives on slow, painful emasculation. You stop sharing ideas. You start seeking approval. You minimize your ambition to avoid conflict. And eventually, your voice shrinks. A chosen man without voice becomes reactive. And reactive men do not build legacy. The test for the controlling witch is this. When you are in her presence, Do you feel expanded or contained? Trap number 3. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about 10 relationship traps that destroy the chosen man. Trap 3 is the energy extraction loop. Some relationships feel good, but leave you drained. This is not normal fatigue. This is depletion. You give time, you give attention, you give money, you give emotional regulation, and somehow she is still unsatisfied. No matter what you provide, the bar moves. And the dangerous part, when you finally get exhausted, she calls you distant. You are not distant. You are empty. This particular trap feeds on your ambition. You see, high drive men are especially vulnerable because they believe they can fix the imbalance. However, you cannot pour from a punctured container. You cannot pour into somebody else when you are a leaky vessel. The test for this particular trap is this. After spending time together, do you feel charged or do you feel depleted? Your body will tell you the truth. If you have to constantly explain why your mission matters, you are not supported. You are tolerated. The test for the false emotional support is this. Does she sacrifice for the mission? Or does the mission always sacrifice for her? Pay attention. Trap number 5. The identity mirror. This is what I call the chameleon dynamic. The identity mirror. In the beginning, chosen man, she matches everything. You feel an overwhelming chemistry. You love the same music. You have the same beliefs. You might even go to the same place of worship, the same spiritual language, the same ambition. It feels like destiny. But mirroring is not alignment. Alignment is consistency over time. Mirroring is strategy. The danger of this trap is speed. It escalates intimacy quickly. You bond fast, you commit fast, and you attach fast. And 6 months later, you realize you fell in love with a reflection. Not the person. The relationship moves so fast, you get sucked in. The test for this particular trap is, who was she before you met her? If you don't know who she was before you met her, slow down. Trap number 5, the trauma bond. We're halfway through. 10 relationship traps that destroy the destiny of the chosen man. Trap number 6 is the trauma bond. I beg your pardon. This one feels like healing. She understands your pain. She listens to your childhood wounds. She nurtures your broken parts. And slowly you regress. You become more emotional, less decisive, more dependent. There is a difference between vulnerability and surrendering your edge. With her, you become less independent. There is a difference between vulnerability and surrendering your edge. A chosen man must heal, but he cannot outsource his healing to romance. The chosen man cannot treat his mate like his mother. If she becomes your therapist, your regulator, or your emotional tampon, then your leadership dissolves. The test for this trap is this. Ask yourself, are you growing stronger or are you growing softer? Healing should fortify you, not weaken you. Trap number 7, the reputation leak. You see, trust is infrastructure. If private conversation leaves your home, if you cannot trust her with private information about yourself, then your foundation will be cracked. This particular trap is subtle. She is a woman who overshares the pillow talk. She vents about you to her friends. She reframes stories. She is overly emotional. She is a bad communicator. And you think, oh, at least she's honest. But a person who leaks others' information will leak yours. She knows what happens in every other person's household. You see, chosen men lose alliances because of pillow talk. You cannot build empire in a house without confidentiality. How do you test for this trap? Ask yourself, how does she speak about people who trust her? That is your preview. We're going to speed it up now. Trap number 8. What I call the spiritual confusion field. This trap is modern. It uses spiritual language without spiritual integrity. You talk about manifestation. You talk about energy. You talk about vibration. But you have no grounding. After being around her, you feel foggy. Your clarity dims. Your routine slips. Your convictions soften. This is not enlightenment. It is instability disguised as depth. A chosen man requires clarity, you see. Anything that increases confusion must be evaluated. Anything that increases confusion in your life must be re-evaluated. The test for this particular trap is this. Does your mind sharpen around her, or does your mind scatter. Chosen man, your clarity is sacred. Trap number 9, what Rev Benton refers to as the fantasy attachment. You see, sometimes the trap is not physical. It is a projection. You fall in love with an idea of this woman. You fall in love with her potential, with an imaginal version of her. You fall in love with the idea of her, with the image of who she could become. And in so doing, you ignore who she is. You build a future in your imagination, while reality quietly contradicts it. You see, chosen men are visionary. That is their gift. But vision misapplied becomes delusion. Vision misapplied becomes delusion. If nothing about her changed for 5 years, this is the test. If nothing about her changed for 5 years, would you still choose her? Be honest. This will ground you in the reality of who you are in partnership with. Trap number 10, the misaligned queen. This is the most misunderstood trap. She is not toxic. She's not chaotic. She is not manipulative. She is simply not aligned. Two good people, two strong personalities, two believers, but different assignments. And when assignments clash, friction grows. Life becomes harder than necessary. Peace declines, momentum slows, and opportunity narrows. Not because she's evil. No, but because you are not meant to build together. You see, discernment is not accusation. It is alignment, recognition. Because you can discern this does not mean you are accusatory. It simply means you have revelation as to the dynamics of your relationship. And the test for the misaligned queen is this. Ask yourself, does your life move forward naturally with her? Or do you constantly push uphill? Do you constantly push uphill? Hear me now. This is the core truth about this lecture series. In the next part, we'll be discussing the 10 relationship traps for chosen women. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. Chosen men and chosen women do not get destroyed overnight. They erode slowly through compromise, through confusion, through misalignment. Therefore, discernment is your protection. And protection is responsibility. You are not paranoid. You are positioned. And your protection is your responsibility. Amen. The protection of your assignment is your responsibility. This is how a chosen man protects his future. He must heal before committing himself into a relationship or into partnership. Secondly, he must evaluate patterns, not promises. 3, he must measure peace, not passion. 4, he must watch for consistency rather than chemistry. And 5, he must never ignore confusion. If confusion increases, pause. If clarity increases, proceed. It's that simple, chosen man. Now, as I close this lecture, this exaltation, I want to make a closing declaration for those under the sound of my voice. If you are building something that matters, guard your gates, protect your vision, and choose alignment over adrenaline. And remember, the wrong relationship does not just cost emotion, it costs destiny. If this resonated with you, visit revbentonexperience.com for more teachings on this particular topic. Go to the comments and let us know what challenges you as a chosen man or chosen woman are experiencing in relationships, in partnerships, or in marriage. It is done.